Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are on your side of the world. And I am really excited today to bring this channeling to you because I've been preparing for it for a while. And I have the lovely facilitator with me today, Suna Sinman, who I've known for a very long time. She is an excellent practitioner, really, really wonderful healer as well. You'll love her energy. Yeah, as usual, when I ask who's going to facilitate, I don't pick personally. You know, it's the being that is channeling through me who picks. So we have been sitting here. We have some guests as well. She has her sister with her. And even though he's not in the room at the moment, I had a surprise. I have one of my lovely clients, Charles, who is 94 years old. He was on one of my daily updates one time, and you guys loved him. So surprise, he's going to be here probably asking you some questions if he starts to get feeling a little bit better. He's not feeling very well today, but he's here in my home, and he may come in and ask the ancients some questions, so you'll get to meet him as well. He is very wise, very wise. So what else is going on? Ask your questions in the Ask a Question section, which is down below our faces here. Please try not to ask them in chat because it's hard for our facilitator to see them if chat gets moving very quickly. We do have a small group today, but it normally gets bigger about halfway through and we don't see the chat as readily. If for any reason my sound gets bad, you can let Suna know by typing in chat, just pretty redundantly, do it over and over again until you catch her attention that the sound has gone bad. It sometimes happens. We did get a very new, professional, and expensive microphone, so we are working on it. Thanks to all of your support, I was able to do that. And this is my second channeling where I have not had a microphone disturbance. So the first time we had some disturbances with the A team, but hopefully this will be channeling number 2 since then that we won't have a disturbance with the channeling and with the microphone sounds like we often do. If I do, just she'll wake me up and I'll fix it and then I'll go back into trance. Suna, if for any reason the sound gets weird, sometimes you can ask the beings, ask the ancients to ask me to put my feet on the ground, and they will literally move my body. It's very fun, and I can then ground out a little bit better, and it's easier. So many people are asking a lot of questions. Who are the ancients? You know, what is the Tree Collective? It's more explanatory with the Tree Collective. The reason why I'm channeling them together is because when I started trying to channel them separately, they said, we're not separate, we're part of the same collective. So it was easier that way to schedule this channeling so that they do come through together because they are a part of each other in a very strong way. Yeah, I can hear a little bit of an echo too, so I'm glad that you're letting me know. Is it bad enough to be distracting for this live channeling or for a future recording? I'll take your opinions and I'll wait on that. For whoever is watching live, please let me know if the echo is really bad or not before we proceed, because I can fix it, but it requires those headphones, which I really, really don't like. We're good? If it's really bothering you, I'll put on my earbuds, but I really don't like earbuds. They really distract me, and it's harder to go into trance with things in your ears or on your head. Having enough hard time with these weird earrings. It's not bad. Okay. All right, good. Then I don't have to put on the earphones. Wonderful. Okay. What else? So the ancients. We do have a lot of questions for the trees, but we don't. For the last I looked, Suna, do we have questions for the ancients, or is it primarily for the trees?
No, the only question was, who are the ancients? And that was a question I felt like to ask them to really almost give their little bio and maybe explain how they connect with us and how, a little of that. And then a lot of questions for trees. And then there's some questions about mermaids and mermen.
Yeah. Ancients definitely represent the sands and the rocks and the mountains. I am in the area where they are strongly prevalent. And I went and spent a ton of time this past week with them. The ancients are, just to give you a background, the first beings that were ever on Earth and beyond. So they created, all environments that are like Earth, that have, oxygen and, this third dimensional environment of nature, particularly connected to, surrounding that. They are the rocks. Every rock that I've ever talked to in my life has the consciousness embodied through the ancients. So the ancients project through rocks, mountains, the quartz sands of the Siesta Keys in Florida. They project through the holy distraction. They project through, thanks a lot, whoever's doing that. The quartz sands, the red rock sands in, southern Utah, especially, and Nevada, everywhere in Utah, the bigger mountains in many parts of the Himalayas. They connect through the sand dunes in the deserts everywhere because they're a part of rocks, which were rocks and water were the first things obviously ever here. And there's consciousness in those beings. So before the ancients started creating beings like humans and Lemurians and Atlanteans, which were some of the first beings on Earth, the natives here, they created natives and Lemurians first. So all those creations of the indigenous peoples on our planet and every third dimensional planet come from the ancients. And that's why it's so important to channel them today, because there's a lot going on with ley line shifts. There's interesting polar shifts going on. North Pole, South Pole switching slowly. It's not a quick thing. Otherwise, we'd all be goners, right? As Master LaValle always says when I talk about the environment, if I go too much into doom and gloom, he goes, "Oh, you're all goners," and he makes a joke. It's not like that. So that's why he makes the joke, because it's really not. It's a slow but steady shift where you feel it more in your cellular etheric DNA, what scientists call junk DNA. A lot of times when we talk to the A-team, they call that the junk DNA. That's not really junk DNA. It's more valid than our two-stranded third dimensional physiological DNA. So the ancients are the ones that you can connect to when you're looking to really activate your cellular nature within that DNA. So you could ask them questions about how to have those activations, what those activations feel like, what the event feels like, which we're going through really strongly, and they've had a lot that they've wanted to share about that, but they're not really talkers. Okay. So they do not have an opening statement. I'm going to go directly into chance, and we will be incredibly reliant upon your questions. We have about 40 or so over on Patreon, and we have about 10 here. We're going to go for about, I'd like Suna to wake me up about 2:15, so that's about an hour. We're at 1:10 now. Okay. So at that point in time, you can just start letting me know, that we're on our few final questions, so that the beings can tell me to come back into my body. And that's normally how I wake up. If I do not wake up, which is very rare, you can just have them, you can just say, "Please awaken the channel," and they will do that at any point in this channeling. If you need me to wake up, you can do that, especially at the end.
I'm thinking because someone had said here, you don't know enough about the elementals in order to know what to ask. Is there an echo with me?
A little bit, but it's not too bad. We both have an echo. Okay. People are saying it's there, but I don't know that it has gotten any worse. It seems to be still just exactly the way it was.
I said there's a big echo with me.
Has it gotten worse, guys, or it's still good enough to proceed? Right, but how bad is it? Is this something that is really distracting you? Because if it is, one of us will put on earphones, but from what we both discovered, it didn't seem to fix the echo.
But how about my echoing? Okay, I'll proceed. So I was just going to say, I was going to ask about the ancients to get us up to date a little bit more, because it seems like we're not as knowledgeable as and in tune as you are. And we might, I'd like to get caught up on that, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah. Are you asking now, or are you saying you're going to ask during trance?
I'm going to ask during trance.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever you feel.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right. And what's funny is I got back from Snow Canyon State Park, and I was in the red sand dunes there, really with my feet and everything all embedded in the sand, trying to prepare for this. And the sand got in between. I wear those really unique shoes that have the toes in them because they're best for your posture and your body and your feet. And the sand got all into my feet. And normally that really bothers me because I'm a sensory person. So it's an interesting challenge where they're saying, no, we want to come back with you, like leave our energy in there. So I feel incredibly grounded.
Okay.
Interesting. All that sand is right up underneath my feet right here in my shoes.
I dropped the sound a little bit, so maybe the echo would be better.
You turned down the sound?
I turned down my sound.
It is a little bit better.
Okay, then I'll keep it. Yeah. Okay.
Super. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I just said to them, can I leave now? And they're like, yes, you can leave now. We are the souls of the red sands, the white sands.
Greetings.
The brothers and sisters of all indigenous beings. We have spoken with you throughout all of your definitions and limited questions. We are here to remove those limits, to help you release the embodiment of time. We are listening.
We wanted to know more about you and if there are what names we may know you by and how we may know you more deeply.
You are our children. You are our students. You are our masters. We are your elders. We proceed beyond your limits of time. We have not names, but you continue to create them, and it makes us jolly. You have called us the Great Spirit of Earth.
So how can we better communicate with you?
You have called us giants. Therefore, when embodied forms came about, we suggested and partook in those forms to honor your dream. After all, It is your dream that you create, and we stand in such allowance and such wisdom that can be provided between us. It matters not who is young or who is old. You have called us the ancients, the ancient ones, the Anukai, the Topeke, the Lemurians, the Native Americans, the trees. The trees are a part of us and flourish, their roots going deeply into the very crevice of our soul and nature. And from us has sprouted every living thing, every embodiment of consciousness. If you have a temple that is a body, then you are a part of our collective.
Thank you. We have a lot of questions about trees, but we also have a question about mermaids and mermen, and if they are also related to Lemurians.
We observe them from the sands at the bottom of your oceans, swimming through the element of water, flowing through the function of grace. You have given them many names throughout time, and this is but one. They come from a race that you have defined as Syrian. What would you wish to know about these beautiful souls? They are elements that transcend time. They transcend your illusions, which is why you find them to be very elusive. Isn't time the grand nature of illusion after all? These beings transcend because grace is very quickly moving and efficient in its resonance.
Thank you. I have a question. In the Arizona deserts, are rocks made from trees as petrified woods, or what are those rocks' origins?
Speak your question again.
In the Arizona deserts, are rocks there made from petrified wood from trees? Or what is the origin of those rocks in the Arizona deserts?
You speak from science, and we proceeded. The consciousness of the rocks in the Arizona deserts are an embodiment of grace and power. The power moves through the planes of existence and transcends the third dimension. The porous nature of the rocks causes as such for flow and energy, the movement, the speed of light flows through the porous nature of these rocks. And it matters not their scientific origin, but they can solidify an imprint of grace and hold it throughout all time. And they will remain throughout the many earth cycles that last roughly 4,000 years, up to 6 in some cases in your time. And these rocks will still be there.
So these rocks are grace.
Yes, they are the embodiment of grace, and the very first embodiment of grace when you created the concept of time and when you connect to them. You can learn more. Rocks know more about enlightenment than humans do.
So can you guide us in communicating with the rocks more, or hearing them?
You must listen. You must hear through every cell of your bodies and feel their powerful resonance. You will feel our vibrations. We speak through the wind. For you are not listening to Gaia's movement and vibration. But when you listen from your hearts and the wind speaks to you and blows through the cellular nature of all of your being, your thoughts will still. Do not run from the wind. Do not run from the breath of life. Silence yourselves. Breathe. Connect your breath to your own heartbeat and connect your own heartbeat to that of Mother Earth. And ask respectfully, in a sacred manner, to still your thoughts and for the essence of us to become your thoughts. And when you invoke us in this manner, you invite the essence of the ancients into your highest mind. And you will feel us quietly at the base of all of your vibration when all is silent.
So we need more silence with the elements and the rocks. And
You cannot hear us when your ego is chattering. You cannot hear us through the sounds of your engines. You cannot hear us through the vibrations of your devices through which you often speak. Your attention is divided. You are split in many directions. But when you choose the power of oneness, you can return to your truest nature, your truest illumination and divinity.
So our oneness is with you, the elements, not just with one another.
Remember, your first embodied consciousness was through us. And when you return to the simple, elegant nature that is the ancients, you are returning to your own hearts. And then you are listening. Your dream started with us, and the cycle returns to us. When your physical illusions of bodies return to the ground, you convene with us once more. But remember, while your bodies are sacred and you should treat them as such, they are your tools. But you are not they, and they are not you.
Many people here feel connected to the trees, and they're wondering how the trees feel this human connection, both physically and as a child hangs from branches, and just through consciousness.
The trees are not active. We are not active within physicality. How can we feel in this way when we are aware that our branches are higher versions of you and you are equal versions of us? Our branches are metaphors for you, for your spiritual bodies. When we blossom, you blossom. When we breathe the oxygen that is available, we give back more of it. We are your breath, and the rocks are your bodies. But we do not feel physicality. We feel your light bodies connect when you hug us and when you wrap your beautiful arms around us. We feel your light, not your bodies. When you choose to cut us with axes and other tools, we do not feel the axe. We feel the energy and the intention of why you choose your action of cutting. And we extend mercy to your souls, not that it is required, but so that it heals you. We are not weeping. We are not cut off. We are not abused.
So then if someone harms you in anger, you're giving us mercy.
And forgiveness. And our seeds will continue to plant and blossom and flourish. But the seeds that you plant are connections to us. We heal your anger that you feed to us. We transcend it, transmute it into a higher, more usable energy. And this is the nature of physical osmosis. When the sun hits our leaves and we are fed, we are thereby able, by osmosis, energetically and physically, to heal and transmute on your behalf when your ego knows not what it does. We are the divine forgivers.
Thank you. We have someone here, Catherine, who has a very deep love for trees, and since she was 5, read a book, The Magic Faraway Tree, and she said she wanted to know if the trees have a special message for her birthday, which is coming up on the 11th of April.
We honor your birthright and we ask you to extend your rite of passage into the archetype of the healer and to accept the keys of initiation from a wise elder throughout the path of shamanism. We welcome you.
Blessing. We have another person here, Amber Woods, who wants to know how her name is connected or if there's a special link with her name to elements.
Dear beloved Elven One, throughout your many times and your druidic nature, as a being of the Elven, a connection to the wood nymphs and the forest, you have always connected, and the trees have always silenced your fears from the moment you were born and you were a wee one getting lost, but yet still found.
It's beautiful. Thank you. And someone is also saying they feel that it's easier for people to communicate and feel close among trees, but not really with the family, with other people. And what can trees teach us about communication among each other as humans?
When is the last time you planted a tree in honor of someone? When is the last time you gave a gift of love and compassion to a family member, and the gift would be a plant, seeds for a garden? When is the last time you gave a family member food yielded from such plants? If you wish to connect with humanity, you must be the love that you wish to receive. It is a simple answer. How would you like to receive love? Give. How would you like to be healed? Heal. How would you like to be treated? Then do as such. Do so without fear, without your attachments, while simultaneously honoring your own path, your own desires, your own divine natures. Do so equally, reciprocally, and with the divine intelligence that come from we, your ancient ancestors.
So you said the divine intelligence comes from you, the ancient ancestors. Is it living within us?
How can it ever be separate? Why do you believe that you are cut off, cut down, cast away, thwarted, stagnant? You would perceive us as stagnant, but we are not bored. We are in motion. And throughout the perpetual resonance of grace, we honor you. But if you wish to see change, you must belong with and amongst each other. You must silence your minds enough to hear the wisdom of your hearts, and it must be your truest divine compass at all times. All other wisdom is not, and there is no comparison to the nature of wisdom from the divine heart compass. This is your truest intelligence.
So I'm hearing from what you had said earlier that when we feel that we have cut off and harmed and such, that's how we perceive you, and that's how we feel disassociated from the intelligence and wisdom within ourselves. Am I hearing that correctly?
You have listened adequately, beloved, and your discernment is keen. Please trust this discernment.
So I'm going to move on. I thank you first, and move on to a question about tree souls in trees after after they've died or made into furniture or houses, Christmas trees in people's home. What is the tree's experience of this?
If you were to create something from the very extension of your blood, which has been done by many ancestors of your time, writing on tablets, creating paint through the gift of blood, the divine women of your cultures would take the blood of their menses and create art that would then be used in a sacred manner to heal all ailments. And the energy would be powerful and transcend time. It is an extension of you, this gift. When you give blood, and the blood within you saves the lives of others, do you feel disgusted by such? Of course you would not. Please understand that we give of our bodies to you, and we imprint effective DNA activators and energies that can help you transcend illnesses and ailments of all kinds. And much like the wood becomes petrified into a stone, and also transcends an illusion and heals many, we do the same. We are not sorrowful as such. We are blessed that we can give and provide this to you.
So when a table is made out of you or some object, does that have the power to change our DNA?
Yes.
And crystals. One person asked that they feel called to take crystals and bury them in beautiful places when she visits other countries. Is that something you guide her to do, or guide us to do?
You are guiding yourselves to do it. And you do so beautifully and effectively, placing energy imprints to activate the ley lines of Mother Earth so that energy can be channeled throughout all humans and beings of all plant and animal kingdoms. This is grand work. She is hardy and strong and will continue, and we thank her.
So I want to ask more about this shifting in the earth and the shifting of our DNA and such. Can you give us a little bit more insight?
Earth transcends itself, collapses into itself in cycles every 4,000 to 6,000 years, at least in the third dimensional plane of existence. Has done so, will do so, simultaneously as all of the other planes of existence which are created every time it does. But you are not shifting into a new existence. There are various planes of existence and various dimensions within those planes of existence that you are creating and recreating. You cannot uncreate anything, but you can create and expand, and then create more and expand. These various levels of which you call ascension, shifts, events, are occurring and expanding. Your earth collapses into itself to a certain degree if you are within the third dimensional plane of existence. If you are not, it is not something that you will uniquely experience. This path will not present itself to you as tragedy. Yet you are here to help others transcend the tragedy that occurs in their unique planes of existence. Do you understand?
Somewhat. I think there's more to understand. People talk about an event, maybe you could help us understand the event.
When you peel an orange, it is but one layer, and then you separate the orange, as you often do because you perceive separation. The ancients have never perceived the orange as separate. The orange has many seeds that will create another orange that will blossom forth into fruit, which a human will one day peel and separate and eat. Within these cycles of the grand illusion of time, you create, and then that creation goes back to its original point, and from that point you expand further. And then there is another goal, another point of time to which you ascend. And then when you reach it, because of expansion and because of flow. This is science. Throughout the nature of physics, you can understand that flow is perpetual. Even your sciences can comprehend that you are in perpetual motion. Therefore, you may seem to believe that you collapse to an extent from a point of chaos and a point of singularity. However, there is a new point each time, for you are expanding that singularity.
I think you answer one of the questions. Said we share our breath with trees and others. Is this exchange of breath a spiritual connection that reminds us to give and receive?
As always, we are uniquely connecting to the imprints that you have chosen karmically and dharmically throughout your illusion of time. When you even created the words karma and dharma, you have so many words, so many definitions, and we must honor them, because otherwise, how would you know to speak to us? And how would you know what to ask? But we ask you. What if learning and expansion was simply learning and expansion? What if it was without punishment and without reward, but it was simply for the joy of the journey? Would it anger you if you learned from us that there is no purpose beyond this?
One person wanted to ask about connecting with you, the ancients, in urban settings. Do you have something to help us with that?
Do you not believe that the ancient ones would hold their places in all settings? Would it be less reverent and less sacred? Would this land be less important to you? It is all important. It is all significant. It is all divinity. The trees in urban settings are full of power and strength, and their breath is strong, for the city requires the oxygen when humans continue to take it. The trees give back, for we are the divine givers and forgivers. But we do not wish to be treated any differently.
I'm connecting to what you had said before about when you were turned into wood tables and stones and buildings. Is their ability to connect and hear your energy or feel your energy when you're transformed into these sitting dwellings?
Why do you believe that humans love antiques? Consider it for a moment. When you choose us and the most ancient of us, we are still active. Our consciousness is still flowing within that table, and one family gathers around and consumes food that comes from the very plants that we have created. It is such an honor. And then you believe that you die, and we watch your cycles and your bodies return to the earth. And then another plant springs forth and provides yet food for another family that will sit at this very same table and learn the very same things and be activated by the very same lessons that we have provided. We do so in this way. It is such an honor to be your activators. And each family activates and expands further, and we get to observe this, which is our greatest gift. And we are receiving the gift when you sit at our tables and flourish, when your hands run across the fine grains of the wood. You touch yourselves and each other and the consciousness that embodies all. And we get to connect you and honor the return to oneness in this unique way. Thank you.
So, as I understand from what you said, you have your energy that you give, and then the other families that give energy into the same tree table all blends and just makes it more expanded till we return. Is that correct?
Correct.
So someone did ask here, I'm sorry, our original purpose here on Earth, and how has this purpose and role shifted in this age?
Are you asking about your own purposes again?
It was a question here.
We understand the question. We urge you to seek from your hearts in the manner of simplicity that we offer, and we return your answer with a question. Does it challenge you from the ego mind, if you were to learn from us that there is no purpose other than expansion and the joy, the simple fact that you love the consciousness of being embodied? How can there be any greater purpose? For without bodies, how can you extend a hand of love to your brethren? Without taste, how could you enjoy the food that we provide? Without support from your bodies, how could you hold each other when you cry? You wish to belong, yet you separate yourself when you claim that there must be difference in purpose and nature, that you need a concept of purpose to make you special. We observe when spirits leave bodies and they return to the oneness of each other and of Source. And then they seek again and again and again the nature of embodied consciousness so that they can love and fall deeply into love with each other, and to rise from that love, merge once more physically and emotionally, and within the speeding up of the frequencies, you return to light, and light merges and joins, and then you return to bodies in order to hold, to honor, to support, and to belong again in these bodies. What purpose could be more beautiful than that? Why do you seek to be more special than that?
Thank you. I have a question here from someone. It's not a question I understand, but I'm going to ask it. Can the ancients comment on the silver wheel and the lost teachings of the deerskin book?
It is not lost. Your elder ones hid it, and you believed that it was lost. You wished for it to return. But it is within you. It is in your cellular nature. It is in your cells in your bodies and in the spirits of your hearts. It is in the winds of breath that grace the air when you sing your sacred song and when you smoke from the sacred pipe. It is not lost and never can be, never will be.
Thank you. Someone wants to thank you for trees for being this company on the drive back from work in the city every day. And I think we all want to thank you. I have another question. What can you tell us of the mythical being, the Rock of Ages?
Why do you believe that it is mythical? Every rock represents the foundation of Source, the grounding of all life, the beginning, beautiful concept of your dream, the ground beneath your feet. We support you.
I personally have a question that came to me is crystals. They have different vibrations, and do they speak to us differently? Both crystals that are here and then crystals that are formed in other planets. What are they saying to us?
As often you have chosen beautiful, unique, creative meaning to the consciousness of crystals, and they honor it and return that meaning to you for the purposes of healing, enlightenment. And you have created such beautiful art. And this is our way of giving back to you what you have given to us. The crystals are our gifts to you, our tools for your use. And you are using them wisely, healers of earth. We thank you.
So then I want to ask, I know there are certain crystals that are collectively believed to have certain healing powers, different chakras, different purposes. But if an individual chooses a rock or crystal to have a certain power, does that also carry the same weight as the collective?
When you believe that it does, and so it is, in each moment, the power of your belief will activate that crystal. There are differences that you create through the ego mind, the limited mind of your earth scientists can at times hold our gifts and feel no connection or meaning. Therefore, no connection or meaning is granted. But when you respect the sacred power of the ancients and you ask and charge your crystal with intention and meaning, we honor the divine creators within you and we return as such. And these are your powerful tools. It appears that time is not resolute for you, dear one.
What do you mean by that?
You are not operating within a definitive threshold, and time is not your master.
Correct.
That is wise.
And maybe that's the question I wanted to ask now too, is many disruptions in technology, communication, mostly technology has been happening extremely much now. Is that going to accelerate as we make some shifts?
The perception is that it increases. It is simply a point through which you gain definition and wisdom, and you begin to understand that this is a new point of learning that is arising, one that you have created. You will accustom yourself to a certain point of expansion where the very fast speed of light is no longer troublesome, and these unique signs, as you call them, will occur at a grand speed. You can keep up with it, and you can adjust, but then you will create a new point of expansion. And then, of course, if the ego mind is still present, you moan and groan and worry until you adjust, and then you create it all over again. You amuse us.
You said if the ego mind is still grown and grown, is it possible for us not to have an ego mind on Earth?
You have created it as a point of expression. It is beautiful, and you may honor it if it is not your master. Your hearts are your divine creators. When the ego transcends time, it simply integrates and joins with the heart, and you understand oneness. And you are granted the wisdom that the ego was only your dream. You are not trying to displace yourself or separate the ego from your divine nature. You honor its truth as a point of creation. You are not trying to eliminate it. You are simply joining with it. And then it becomes a master to the wisdom of the heart.
Is this related to the meaning that we give to things, such as your answers about crystals?
Yes. And you create this meaning and you enjoy it. And if you do not enjoy what you are creating, simply stop, breathe, and create again. It is that simple. You spend days, weeks, months, years throughout the creation of time complaining that you are not integrated, that you are not healed, that you are not whole. And this is a lie that you tell yourselves from your ego mind. You are worthy of this wholeness. The moment you believe that you are, and we open our branches and extend them like arms of love to you. We support you in your remembrance of your wholeness. And then you may create again, but understand that the oneness, the healing, the integration cannot come from a belief of brokenness and unworthiness. And if for a brief moment it could, or should, or does, remember that the ego can lie. You can simply create from something other than a point of pain and suffering and negativity and fear. There are 2 points of creation from which you may choose: fear or love. We honor your choice today as you move forward into love. If you feel fear, do something different than fear. Your actions integrate you. It's not always from the point of healing of processes and grand meditations and offerings. If you are doing all of this and your actions are not forthcoming, if your actions do not match your processes, that is the insanity from the fear in your ego mind. And if you wish to step into the sanity and wisdom of the ancients, you must ask, after recognition that you are creating from fear, you must ask, what would I choose instead? How would I wish to create from love? What is the most loving action in this moment? Some of you do not know love, but when you give it to yourselves with your actions, you can teach it to your inner nature. You can mother yourselves. It is the most loving thing that you may do.
So this process that our actions should connect, is that like an intention? We set an intention to be loving and then learn to love when we match actions to what we know of lovingness.
You must set an intention to be in the energies of love, grace, compassion, forgiveness, trust, allowance. Any of those frequencies that match at any point in your creations will indeed integrate and remind you of your oneness.
So I'm going to ask a question that was put here that I think is somewhat connected, that someone has been seeing a green man face tacked onto trees. And she found one and thought it and was drawn to it and hung it on her house. I think it's wondering what this is. I'm guessing it's some sort of manifestation that was made out of love.
You are very creative souls. And when you seek for meaning, you will create it and find it, for it is what causes you to feel safe in an environment of complete amnesia and partial deja vu. And when you create these images and reflections of your divine selves, and then you call them things such as spirit guides, angels, guardians. It is your teacher momentarily, this dream of a master guide, guardian, angel, spirit animal, extraterrestrial, you have created. And then the teacher begins to teach the student until the student becomes the master.
Thank you. I think you answered also a question about past mythologies, how we connect to that. And then we are asking also if is there any other message you would like to share with us?
Remember your two choices: fear, love. Choose today. We will honor and create within you and for you. No matter what you choose, we love and forgive you, for nothing has ever been wrong.
Thank you. If you have nothing else to share with us at this time, we want to thank you so much and ask that Pamela may come back to us. But we do have 4 minutes if you have something else you'd like to share.
You may hear our song in the breath that is the winds. You may feel our love in the vibrations from the rocks below your feet, but only if you quiet your minds enough. Come in solitude. Come to us. And we are here with our arms to embrace you for healing, for support. You belong. You are special. We love you.
Thank you. You may wake Pamela.
Oh, Grace is talking to me. She's over here.
Oh,
Right there.
your plant.
Yeah, she's so finicky. She said, I need some water, and you need some water now.
Water.
She's a little bossy.
I hope I got everyone's questions answered.
Yeah.
I tried.
If not, maybe we can do it again someday, the next time you guys vote upon it. Oh gosh, I still have ancient language going on. Do they speak differently?
I thought you spoke as you usually speak. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you.
Oh, I need a nap.
Oh, good. You have to pick up your notes though, don't you?
Oh, yes, thank you for that reminder. I do. In 1 minute, I have to be in the car.
Yeah. Well, I think you're like me. They told me I'm beyond time. I'm not like, I call it being time handicapped. And when you get to a higher level,
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Okay, guys. I'm trying to remember. I'm just so not in the 3D right now. I'm trying to remember what channeling is up next. I believe it might be the second week of April. You guys can look at the Patreon channeling, but we have more coming up. Just trying to remember what's next. Do you remember?
I don't. I might be able to take a quick peek. Let me see if I can.
Normally, I'm able to remember what we're gonna do next week, but just don't right now.
Yeah.
I think we have some live Q&As coming up and things like that. And then we have a channeling, but I don't remember who we chose.
Yeah, I'm looking through this really quick, but I don't see it. I don't see anything right now. The schedule, I'd have to,
Yeah.
I could tell you.
Okay.
Thursday, April 5th, it looks like the next one, and it is Ask Pamela Anything. And then
Right.
Friday is about Elohim, and Monday's
The class all about the Elohim.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then what? Oh, is it the sun? Is that what's next for channeling?
The God Particle on Thursday the 12th.
That's a class, not a channeling.
Okay. And then the 13th is the sun.
Okay, it is the sun. Okay. That's interesting that you guys, it was a toss-up between that and Mary Magdalene and a Divine Feminine Soul group called the Magdalene Order. And even though the Magdalene Order did win that one, I chose the Sun Collective for a unique reason. We are honoring collectives right now this time of the year for unique reasons that you will be very happy about. So normally I follow whatever you vote, but in my instincts and divine guidance, I chose the Sun Collective for a very, very unique reason based upon what we are experiencing right now in the event, because the sun is a part of the prana that can feed you, energetically speaking, and activate you in different levels.
That's wonderful. Actually, Cindy and I, who's here with me now, will be in southern France, the Cathar region, yeah, on that day. And going for a week special tour with a group of Maggies. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't even, well, I can imagine. I don't want to go transport right there right now, though. I got to get in the car. I love you guys.
All right. Thank you.
I'll see you in April.
Right.
And for those of you who are, I forgot to tell you, my Soul Essence Communication, Talking to the Higher Self of Others class is tomorrow at 2 p.m. And it is not going to be on Crowdcast or Patreon. It is on PamelaAaralyn.com. And we use Zoom, which is just as easy as this, if not more so. And it's recorded. You can still get a part of that class, but I don't have but a few spaces left, maybe 10, before we reach our cutoff point where we have to cut, because it'll be too many at that point for me to teach. Zoom will only hold so many people. So if you're interested in that class, you better do it tonight or early tomorrow morning, because the cutoff is going to be, right there at starts at 2 o'clock. So right about 1:30, we're going to cut off so that we have enough room. Okay. And Suna, where can they reach you?
Let's say, I was just going to type it in here. I can be reached email at suna@sunasenman.com. And that sunasenman.com is a website too that you can tell I'm not a web person, so I don't really keep up with it, but I have a lot of blogs there and different things.
Can you tell us a little bit more? She's really minimalizing who she is. She is really an amazing person with a lot to offer you. So can you tell us a little more?
Okay, I just want to make myself available for anybody who feels called. I have a background in psychotherapy and world religions, and I boil it all down into helping people just access who they truly are. I kind of reject all the classic stuff. That's why I don't work in outpatient mental health anymore for a long time. And I'm just here. You can look at the website to get a little bit more information on me.
You're so adorable. You have such a hard time. I do this too, that I cannot even write my own bio. I try, and it still has a long way to go because I just can't talk about myself. I'm like, okay, I'm going to trance now. Bye bye.
Yeah, I know. I don't really know what to say, but I think it's like anything. If people feel called to a certain book, they should read that book. If they feel called to a certain person, they should connect with that person. And I try to make myself visible that I'm here, but not so visible like I'm. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, Cindy wants to say something. Okay. Here she is. Okay.
I'll give a quick 1-minute bio about Suna. She is a healer through and through, a deeply,
Yes.
deeply spiritual woman. And she's creating a center called Freedom here in Sweden for the expansion of light and love and joy and your soul and everything creative. She writes books. She teaches. She does healing massage. That's just a short list.
And she's so humble. It's
Too, yes, she is.
Oh, I'm trying to send this off, but I don't know how it'll work. Let me see.
yeah, Suna and I go way back.
Oh.
In this lifetime and in others.
She's
Yeah,
such a blessing.
okay,
She's really such a blessing to everyone who knows her.
I agree.
I'm
I completely
I'm just
agree.
a reflection. So if you see it, you are it. Okay.
Oh, you know, that whole receiving love thing. I think we both gotta learn a little bit more about that. You are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for facilitating with me today, and thank everyone who's watching. And this will be available right away for replay because Crowdcast is good like that. We may edit it, as I often do, and put a YouTube link as well, just so you can have a nice edited version. So you'll see that probably. And but that one, the edited version, takes a week or so because my editor has a day job and he's a busy guy. So I love you guys. I gotta go.
Yeah, big hug to your kids. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.